Hey there, welcome back once again to Titans Tube. My name is Justin, and this is Jake here with me as always, and we will be previewing the Tennessee Titans hosting the New Orleans Saints. I didn't forget, Jake. I paused for a second.
Yes.
Dramatic pause. They will be hosting the New Orleans Saints, who will be making their return to Nashville, Jake. The last time we played this team, we still have a chip on our shoulder from that. It's a little revenge factor for us because that game ended on a sour note, a highly competitive game in 2019, where the Titans yet again didn't have Derrick Henry, but put up a great fight against Drew Brees. And when Michael Thomas was balling out, Alvin Kamara, Titans lost that game by 10 points, 38-28. But it ended because Khalif Raymond got lit up in the head on an illegal hit, fumbling the ball, and that kind of just lost the Titans momentum for that game. So kind of a sour, this was in the middle of our resurgence with Tannehill, and we were resting Henry, and they got one on us, Jake, and it was not a good feeling after that. After that play against Khalif Raymond. But
yeah,
regardless, neither here nor there. This game, Jake, is an interesting matchup. There's lots of injuries on both sides of the ball coming into this one. So I don't know, how are we feeling here? The Titans are clearly rolling, and the Saints are coming off a bad loss to the Atlanta Falcons. However, at the same time, the Saints team without Jameis Winston did still beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this isn't a slouch of a team whatsoever, Jake, regardless of the injury. So yeah, how are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, as far as the Titans go, you can't really ask for more out of them than what we've seen over these past 5 games. 5 straight wins in a row against, obviously, high competition. We've gone over, their murderer's row of a schedule there in the middle of the season, but they came out flawless out of it. The Titans sitting at 7-2 after starting the season 2-2. So not much more you can ask for there. And as for the Saints go, it's kind of, the Saints this year, I feel like, are one of those teams you can't quite get a read on, especially when they had Jameis earlier in the year. Now, Jameis obviously to IR with a torn ACL, so we won't get to see the Jameis Winston show in Nashville, excuse me. So that's going to definitely play a large factor in this game, Justin.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So yeah, we can just dive right into this one. We had a brief scare. I'm gonna let you, take this one away, talking about the Titans passing offense and what we're gonna see from the Saints passing defense. But what a crazy half-hour scare. Ryan Tannehill does not report to practice, or he was missing from practice. So we were wondering what's wrong with him. Oh my God, did he get hurt? Did he catch COVID? And then he did get sick, but it wasn't the COVID sickness. He's still expected to play. Yes. So it's like we can't have an easy day here. As Titans fans for just one practice day. So Tannehill is good to go. So that is very good news for the Titans. But besides him, what are we looking for here?
Yeah, totally. So this Titans passing offense versus the Saints passing defense. You mentioned Ryan Tannehill giving every Titans fan a heart attack for half an hour this afternoon. And I think that is largely in part to the fact that Julio Jones' watch continues into week 10. He had 1 day off of the injury report on Wednesday, and then he was right back on it on Thursday after what appeared to be like a tweak of his hamstring coming out of a break in practice. So he's listed as questionable. I'm kind of surprised he wasn't ruled out for this game. So that's somewhat encouraging, I guess, as far as Julio Jones goes. A.J. Brown also sat out practice today, but he has no designation and is good to go for the Titans. And so you're going to be looking to, these lesser role guys kind of pick up the slack if Julio does, in fact, not go for this team. Just like tight end Jeff Swaim, who's made a name for himself as the Titans' top receiving threat at tight end.
I see you, Jeff.
Not seen a lot of Anthony Ferkser, especially in the red zone. Yeah, and Jeff Swaim making plays all over the field for the Titans, kind of like a security blanket for Tannehill in a way. And obviously, life without Josh Reynolds, Justin. How can the Titans move on after such a catastrophic loss? So, like I said, guys like Nick Westbrook-Akina and Chester Rogers, Marcus Johnson, going to have to be picking up the slack a little bit as far as the passing attack goes for the Titans. Tannehill's interception streak continued on Sunday Night Football. That is something that he has to cut out of his game, Justin. It's been infuriating. That pass was straight to Jalen Ramsey. I mean, he made a great play on it. Jalen Ramsey's an all-pro corner, but still, you just can't make that throw. So Tannehill interception woes continue. Hopefully, this New Orleans game can provide an opportunity, man, I can't talk today, for him to snap that interception streak. And the Saints passing defense, Justin, switching sides of the ball, they ranked 27th in overall pass defense, giving up 273 yards a game. But don't let that fool you. I feel like this defense has really, really played well in New Orleans. It's been kind of what's propped them up and kept them at 5-3 coming into this matchup. So obviously, Marcus Lattimore, premier corner for the Saints. He's that Jalen Ramsey kind of factor also again this week. So A.J. Brown can't be getting in scraps with him, can't be listening to this guy. He's going to try and get in whoever he's covering's head for the Titans. And then Paulson Adebo and Bradley Roby round out the cornerback room for the New Orleans Saints. And then Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams round out at safety. A lot of Ohio State Buckeyes in the secondary, Justin. How about that? But interesting matchup. Obviously, uncommon opponent. It's going to be definitely something to watch to see if A.J. Brown can get back to form after a couple of drops last week, and if Ryan Tannehill can get that interception monkey off of his back.
Yeah, totally agreed. The interception monkey, that's got to be something to look for him to stop. You know, if it, I don't know, it's even worse than what the stat shows. It shows like one interception per game, but it's like a bad interception. And so there's one time again where Tannehill just goes completely blind and throws it to the wrong team. So we can't be giving any turnovers away. We can't be giving this New Orleans Saints team who's banged and battered up any kind of advantages whatsoever. And without Julio, it's going to be a tough test for this receiving core. I kind of have liked Nick Westbrook-Ikhine in that third receiver role. He's been, pretty consistent in giving us a couple big catches a game, had a couple big ones against the Rams on Sunday night. So he's going to have to step up. I don't, even if Julio plays, I'm not going to expect a lot out of him. That trade, as each game goes by, that trade is looking to be a little worse and worse. I mean, we'll see what the season holds for us, and hopefully Julio does get healthier. Maybe he's a huge impact for us in the playoffs, but giving up a second rounder and what we've gotten from Julio and from his contributions has not been worth it halfway through the season. But still a lot of football left to be played. So got to look for guys like in Chester Rogers. He's kind of fallen off in the receiving production category, but still a decent punt returner for us. But he may have to step up. Marcus Johnson, some of these other guys against a pretty stout, like you said, Ohio State Buckeye field secondary. Marcus Lattimore, old man Malcolm Jenkins at safety. So I don't know. Would we give the Saints the advantage here? Maybe it's a push. I think AJ can get those drops corrected. For sure. Ramsey did okay against him last week, but I think if AJ holds on to two of those third down passes, he probably ends up, is seen as winning that matchup between the two. So another big challenge though with Marcus Lattimore coming here. But I don't know. What do you think? A push?
I'm thinking push. If there is a slight advantage, I might lean it towards the Titans side, especially if Julio plays in any kind of pitch count scenario who knows? And I'm glad you brought that up, Justin. I mean, what we've seen out of Julio and what we thought we would see out of Julio, and it goes back to his introductory press conference where he's like, those questioning my health, stay tuned. Well, we have stayed tuned and we are still questioning his health 10 weeks into the NFL season. So a little bit of a letdown on the Julio side, but you brought it up. I mean, having Julio Jones healthy for a playoff run where you could get Derrick Henry back and A.J. Brown and get healthy at the right time, that's an offense you do not want to face in January, and that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, we've got the pieces. We just need to get them all healthy and functioning together at the same time. Injuries has been a plague on this team this season, but we still have been getting it done. So, I mean, in terms of this matchup, we can give it a push. It's going to be a big game for Tannehill, and to keeping him protected, and pass protection for this offensive line is going to be a huge thing, which kind of leads into our next category here with the Titans rushing offense versus the Saints run defense. Again, we called him the trio of running backs, Adrian McForman. We did not coin that. We did take that off the Titans subreddit, so don't say we stole it or anything. Proper credit to that user. So, kind of an underwhelming performance last week against a Rams defense that had a great front seven, but the Saints are another team with another great front seven. So we're going to have to hopefully take some pressure off Tannehill, especially if Julio's not going to be in the lineup for us. So got to be able to pick up some good gains, some consistency in the run game, create a balanced attack. Hopefully Adrian Peterson gets more comfortable within this offense. And we can, he can kind of lead the charge there. But still, like what I saw out of Deontay Foreman. And then, of course, McNichols as your third down back. You like him in that role. But, with Taylor Lewan looking to come back and Nate Davis also returning to the lineup, maybe we'll see a better performance overall from the O-line, because Bobby Hart struggled last week. Giving up sacks, kind of struggling in the run blocking. I think he graded out as the worst, at least offensive player for us on Pro Football Focus. So it's definitely going to help to get Taylor Lewan, Nate Davis back in there too. We just got to, we don't have to be world beaters against this Saints team. And, it's not like it's a challenge to put up 30 plus points against a stout defense. Cause we'll get to the other side of the football with, when the Saints have the ball against our defense, they just kind of have to do enough. Manage the game. Don't hurt yourself. Tannehill can't turn it over. No fumbling by these young running backs and Adrian Peterson. He's the opposite of a young running back. Just specific McNichols and Foreman.
I got you.
So as long as this offense, can put together some drives, move the chains, extend drives, and put up, finish off some drives. Don't turn the ball over. Yeah, I'm just repeating myself now. Managing the game. Yes. I think that'll be enough to ask from them. So hopefully we'll get a better performance out of this rushing offense. But again, the Saints are stacking their front seven with guys like Cameron Jordan, longtime veteran. Probably in a Saints type of Ring of Honor type player that he's been for them. And then on the linebacker side of it, you got Demario Davis, who's a stud linebacker in this league, has been for a few years now. And Quan Alexander, Pete Werner, these guys are the top contributing linebackers for him. So, or top contributing tacklers at the linebacker position for him. So just a lot of good players for the Saints team up front. So it's going to be a challenge, but hopefully getting these O-line members back, we can do enough. We're not asking for 150 yards on the ground here. Just looking for some balance for the offense, take some pressure off Tannehill. So I don't know. Having said that, who would you give the advantage to here?
I'm with you, but I have to probably give the advantage to the Saints here. I mean, they come in with the statistically number one rushing defense in football. I think allowing around 73 yards per game. And they got some studs playing linebacker. Obviously, you said Cam Jordan leading the defensive line. And I also like what you said about you're not asking this trio of running backs to do too much. And I think the addition of Nate Davis and Taylor Lewan will open up a few more holes because, yes, while Adrian Peterson, little ineffective, Jeremy McNichols, a little bit ineffective, and Deontay Foreman was really the only guy who found any running room on Sunday night. I think that was also due in part with the run blocking just wasn't there for the Titans on Sunday night, and they had to scratch and claw for everything they got on the offensive side of the ball. So hopefully this offensive line getting healthier will provide a few more running lanes, but still Saints front seven's playing great football this year, and I got to give them the advantage here.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I apologize. I completely looked over this important key stats going into this matchup. Yeah. Saints are literally number one in rushing defense and rushing yards allowed per game at 73, like you mentioned. So could have led off with that, but I think the Saints have got to have the advantage here. Hopefully, it's still crucial to this game that we find a little bit of balance and are able to get a little bit of something going on the ground here. But if you want to move on, other side of the ball, Saints coming into this game without their QB1 and running back one. It's lining up pretty good, especially looking at how the Titans defense performed last year. Last week. Not last year, that's for sure. Don't want to bring that defense up, but this defense is trending. So, and we're getting a key piece back, Jake, on the for our pass defense. So how's it going to look for our pass defense against Saints pass offense?
Yeah, definitely getting a big piece back. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not official at the time of recording this, but Mike Vrabel was optimistic that Christian Fulton, who was designated to return off of IR this week, had a full week of practice. Vrabel is encouraged that he could be activated and play on Sunday. So you just gave, this surging Titans defense, who's playing great football, their best cover cornerback. So that's huge for this team.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge for this defense to keep their momentum rolling. And, also while we're on the secondary, Justin, shout out to Jack Rabbit Jenkins, Elijah Molden, dudes. I don't think Breon played last week, but these dudes in the secondary, Chris Jackson, thank you, played a great game. They had a huge role in a lot of the sacks of Matthew Stafford because he had to hold the ball forever. And you can attribute all those to cover, not all of them, but most of them to coverage sacks. So it's this front four and the secondary are feeding off of each other. It's all coming together for Shane Bowman's defense. And that's something I didn't think I'd say this season, So hopefully this defensive trend can continue for the Titans. And I've noticed something over the past couple of weeks is that these teams are targeting the Titans defense by passing the ball a ton. Because look at the last two games. Carson Wentz, I know the game went into overtime, but he threw the ball 51 times when they have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, mind you.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Stafford threw 48 times last week. And I know some of that is game flow. Rams were behind, but still a lot of passes being thrown against this Titans defense, who is getting the job done on the defensive side of the ball. So looking at the Saints passing offense, not a great numbers look for this passing attack. They're 31st in the league, averaging 131 passing yards a game. Whew, and I thought, the Titans weren't a pass-happy team. Jameis Winston, their QB1, obviously coming into this year, went to IR with an ACL tear. So Trevor Siemian will be leading the passing attack. Taysom Hill might be in the game, might throw one or two balls. I'm not really concerned about Taysom Hill at this point. I'm going to say that he's going to go for 2 touchdowns, but that's besides the point. Deontay Harris is leading their team in receiving yards with, another key piece of the Saints offense, Mike Thomas, who's been on IR for most, if not all of this year. So they're going to be looking at guys like Deontay Harris and Marquez Callaway to fill that role at wide receiver. Certainly no Mike Thomas. And then maybe the biggest injury in this game, minus if you take Derrick Henry out of the equation, Justin, is Alvin Kamara will be out this game, and that is going to heavily affect the Saints passing offense and their running offense, just their whole offense as a whole. It's going to be a big loss for them and a big plus for the Titans defense not having to deal with Alvin Kamara on Sunday. And I just had to throw this in there. The Saints starting tight end, Adam Troutman, former University of Dayton Flyer. So shout out my hometown. Go Dayton Flyers. We're mostly a basketball school, Justin, but we'll have some football success thrown in there. So maybe it doesn't happen very often, Justin, but I'm going to give this Titans secondary and passing defense the advantage. I mean, they've earned it with how they've played, ramping up these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I have to agree. And then with I think Christian Fulton's going to be back. I mean, he was designated to return from IR. He's got a full week of practice with no setbacks. Mike Vrabel may not say it, but I think he's in line to make a return. I don't think there's any reason not to, unless they're want to be overly cautious. And then going against, a team who really don't have any big name wide receivers. And Kamara, even though he's their running back, he was a huge part of their passing game. So, and what we did to the Rams passing offense and the way we were able to get after Stafford, that's going to be huge for this. For the Titans in this advantage, because I think, we will mention, their starting left tackle, another injury, Terran Armstead is going to be out. So huge. That is huge. That's, he's been to the Pro Bowl a few times. He's been their starter for years now. So big time challenges ahead for the Saints. But, Jake, after losing Derrick Henry and the injuries and, whenever we are going into games thinking, oh man, I just, it could get ugly. Let's get out of it healthy. The Saints could be, one of those teams too, where we can't overlook them because they're just a winning culture. And that's kind of what the Titans have become. So you can't ever count them out no matter who it is or isn't in the lineup. But I think for sure, we got to give the Titans the advantage here too. Yeah, so Titans looking good against the pass against this team on paper here, but getting into this rush defense against the Saints rush offense without Kamara. How about these Titans in the front seven? We are still in the top 10 in rushing yards after 9 games into the season. We are sitting at 8th in yards allowed per game. Man, the fearsome foursome, the tickle monsters. How do we feel about
dumb name? That's Twitter? What we clamor for national attention and we clamor for this and that, people to respect the Titans, and you have the best defensive line you've had in over a decade, and you want to nickname them the Tickle Monsters. I get that it's funny. It's kind of making fun of the whole thing, but come on, guys. Like, for real.
It's a little silly.
Like, come on. It's a little silly. That's the whole point, that it's silly. But there's nothing silly about this front four.
I would love to have, let's go for a more intimidating and scary and, badass kind of a nickname.
Come on.
I want our nickname to strike fear into the offense, and like the Legion of Boom. That was great. That was a cool little catchy thing that caught on, and it was, it struck fear into your hearts and souls, not the tickle monsters, but it's a funny.
It's a no from me, Justin.
Okay, Jake's on the record. I would say me too. But anyway, outside of them, I mean, you can't say enough. We know how dominant this group has been together. Not a whole lot of practicing, especially out of Landry and Simmons this week. So that hasn't really been holding them out of games or hampering their production. But hopefully they can continue to shine. We're going to need them because we have a big absence in the form of a David Long Jr.
Yes.
Man, Jake, I hate that. That game was over with. It was wrapped up. There was 2 minutes to go. Rams are just killing clock, and David Long goes down with an injury. Man, that's a big blow to this Titans defense. I mean, thank goodness Alvin Kamara, isn't playing, because I think David Long Jr. is a good matchup to have on your defense to face a player like Alvin Kamara. So that would have been a big problem for us had Kamara been playing, but he's not. Rashaan Evans, though, questionable for this game. And we still got rookie Monty Rice, who stepped up for us. I think it was against the Colts, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Played a pretty good game. And with Jayon Brown now healthy and back and active, looking good in this defense again, you don't miss David Long Jr. as much going into this game, but he's still a big blow. We're going to need him for the long haul, long stretch. But good to see Jayon and possibly Rashaan, that duo back playing again together. As far as the Saints rush offense go, they are 10th in rushing yards per game at 123. But of course, context is everything. That's all Kamara. It's literally probably all Kamara. He might get like 120, and then the rest of the team has 3 yards per game. But he's got old teammate Mark Ingram back to share the load, and now he's going to be the lead dog for them. Really hasn't been productive or relevant, I think, since that 14-2 season with Baltimore when Lamar Jackson was MVP and the Titans ended their season in Baltimore. Love to see it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. And I also have Dwayne Washington as the second option, but again, Taysom Hill used in a variety of ways. I could see him either in Wildcats or maybe just straight up taking some handoffs for the Saints in this game. We'll see what Sean Payton, almost said Sean McVay. We got the Seans in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
Isn't the Bills coach named Sean too?
Sean McDermott. Yeah.
We are taking down all the Seans.
Yes.
God, I love it. We own the Seans. Anyway, so I don't know. Without Kamara and their starting left tackle, Taron Armstead, I do not fear this the Saints rushing offense coming into this. So we got to give the Titans yet again the advantage here. What do you say? Is there any reason or cause for concern coming into this?
Yes, David Long Jr., huge blow. I mean, he has been kind of the guy who makes this defense go to this point of the season. Yes, and you really hate to see it really late in that Rams game. Game well in hand, and he goes down. That was kind of the demerit of the entire evening on Sunday Night Football. But, I think without Kamara and without Armstead, that I'm not sure that Mark Ingram and Dwayne Washington will carry the load quite as well as Alvin Kamara. And you have the battle of the aging running backs, Justin. It is an old man fest in both of these backfields with Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram. It's looking like NCAA football '06 out here, or
Yeah.
'07 or something like that. Anyways, but yes, I'm with you. Titans front seven has to get this advantage with the way that they've been playing as of late. Going to another advantage that we are not used to getting, Justin. Maybe a
Yeah.
special teams advantage skews our
Woo.
way because Randy Bullock has been on fire. Knock on wood, of course, but he has been on fire for the Titans. No misses for, I can't even remember his last miss. And that's saying something for Titans
Yeah.
kickers
It's
because
amazing.
there used to be one every single week. So Randy Bullock kicking great for the team. Brett Kern returning to form. We saw a couple inside the 10 punts on Sunday Night Football. Love that from him. On the Saints side of the ball, Brian Johnson kicking instead of Will Lutz, who you would probably expect to be the Saints kicker, who's been on IR for a while. And then their punter is Blake Gillikin. Quite the name there. And I didn't look up any stats for the Saints kickers, and I didn't have to because I feel so good about our kicking game right now, Justin. Am I crazy? Am I out of pocket saying that the Titans kicking issues may have been fixed? Are we calling it fixed at this point? I shouldn't say maybe that, but yeah, I'll knock on wood for that. But what do you think?
Man, I love it. And yeah, it's bad not to do proper and due diligence and researching the opposing kickers and punters stats. But dude, when you have a kicker where you can't remember the last time they missed a field goal and a punter who keeps drilling punts inside the 10-yard line, you can't get any better than that. So yes, of course, I think we've got to hold the kicking advantage here. Will Lutz is a good kicker, but I didn't even know that. I'm glad you did your research on this, on this stat and had, Brian Johnson. Yeah, no idea if Brian Johnson has been doing well for them, but man, you gotta love how slim Randy and Brett Kern is kicking for this football team. Just another positive element that is on this team that was not on this team last year. That, and of course, the legitimate pass rushing defense. It's just makes a world of difference for your football team. So I say we got to get the advantage there. And really the only clear advantage throughout this entire video we've given the Saints is their run defense versus the Titans run offense. And so if they're able to succeed there, make the Titans offense one-dimensional, that could be a way where the Titans find themselves in a slugfest, a struggled kind of game. So Jake, as we take this into our predictions and keys to the game, I think I'm just going to, kind of run with that, in that for the Titans to win this game, I think a key, first of all, is to be ready for, expect the unexpected from a Sean McVay, kind of game planner, the kind of coach that he is. I did it.
It's so many Seans. I can't keep them straight.
When you got Rams on the so many Seans, they just all run into one. It's in your head. So I'm sorry, McVay, you're in the past. But Sean Payton he's a coach, he's going to bring some trickery. Sure. Surely he will, be ready for some Taysom Hill action, whatever they decide to do with him at running back, quarterback, receiver, always got to account for him. Fake special teams plays, Sean Payton is going to throw some stuff because he's shorthanded with the best players on his roster, or his best players, out for the game. So got to be ready for that. And then secondly, I think the Titans just need to not make mistakes, keep the penalties at a minimum. And of course the Tannehill turnovers got to be at 0. And I think as long as, we don't hurt ourselves like that, the Titans are going to give themselves a great chance to win this game. Don't let the Saints hang around. Because you never know. You're one trick play away from a 7-point game late to being tied, and you find yourselves in a whole new ball game there. But with all that said, I'm going to take the Titans to win this game, Jake. But I have a feeling both defenses are going to come to play. I think the Saints is going to give our offense a difficult time. I think we're going to struggle to run the ball. As you listed it on the stat page here, number 1 in the league in rush defense. So we'll see what Adrian McForman can do and see if they can help us out there. But I think it's going to be a grinding kind of slugfest type of game. And I'm going to take the Titans in a very low-scoring game, a very typical, boring, standard 20-17 score. I don't think it's going to come easy. Something tells me that the Saints defense is going to keep them in this game. Because last week, the offense, didn't really light up light anybody on fire at all. We had kind of 2 touchdowns gifted to us by the defense, and I don't think we can count on that week to week. So, I mean, you take 2 touchdowns off the board, and that Sunday night game looks totally different. So,
yeah,
it's going to be slow going. It's going to be a lot of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I think we're going to see in this game. But I think, it's going to be close and stressful, but the Titans win it at the end, 20-17. Jake, what do you think? How are you feeling about that?
I like it. And I like what you said about how the Titans were gifted in their first game without Derrick Henry. They were essentially given 14 points by the defense to kind of get them rolling, which was massive. That ended up blowing the game wide open. And then it was good times rolling in Hollywood on Sunday night. So we can't count on those 14 points to come from the defense. I don't care how well this front four is playing. You're not going to get those kinds of breaks every single week. And you're right. Sean Payton, great head coach, long tenured head coach. He's going to have his team ready to play, and it's a winning culture. So it's going to be a fight. And we're, pardon me, it's going to be a fight.
as I fall down.
But I like what you said about expect the unexpected. There's going to be some, trickery. I think that's a good call by you. And I keep stealing your points, but I think if the Titans win the turnover advantage and rush for over 80 yards collectively, I think the Titans can do enough to win. That's going to show me that the offense is moving a little bit better than they did on Sunday night. And, if Adrian Peterson can get the rhythm, or Deontay Foreman can come in and provide some good carries for this team, so Tannehill doesn't have to do it all by himself, that would be great. And I think that's the key to a Titans victory. I'm also going to go a slightly lesser scoring game, but I think the Titans offense maybe puts it together with a couple of big plays. Hopefully we see an A.J. Brown house call this week. I'm going to go Titans 27, Saints 19.
Okay. I will take that. 8-point win.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I like it. Maybe, I could just feel that the defenses are kind of both going to be making big plays and keeping both teams in this game. But man, yeah, if we score 27 points, I don't know. The Saints put up 27 against the Falcons last week. Of course, I would take our defense over the Falcons defense. But man, looking forward to this game so much, Jake. I think it was Mike Herndon. It's kind of been a while since we shouted out Mike Herndon, but usually we shout out him and his
follow on
tweets
Twitter
that he makes. One of the best Titans tweeters out there. Made a good point in that I guess he's going to the game because he said, he can't wait to go to the Titans game and to raise the volume level to 11 and cheering on not really this offense, but to be excited and cheering for a defense that is that defense that earns it, that makes you, get to your feet and get loud like the Legion of Boom back in the day. And the Titans have had these kind of defenses too, man. I remember like 2000, 2008, some of the best defenses in the league, and the stadium would be rocking whenever we got on defense. And then after a sack or a turnover, dude, it was a party like every single time one of those plays happened. So would love to get back to that kind of style of football and defense because that's when home field advantage really, really kicks in for you. So yeah, it should be great. Super excited to see this defense against a shorthanded Saints offense. What a terrible Titans thing it would be to shut down Matt Stafford and all the weapons there with the Rams. And then Trevor Siemian, I think you said it in our recap video, like it would be a Titans thing to let Trevor Siemian throw for 400 yards after a great performance by the Titans defense. But, it's hard to see that happen. The NFL is super unpredictable. We're both 0-1 in our picks this week because the Dolphins beat the Ravens.
Thank you, Dolphins, the Titans now catapulted even further into that 1 seed. If they can win this week, they've kind of got themselves in the driver's seat for that number 1 seed, which coming down the line could be very critically important in getting the king back for the playoff run.
Oh, yes. Getting that extra bye week. Yeah, that's so huge. We picked the Ravens, but we're definitely happy that they lost because of how it benefits the Titans. That's a great point. Getting a win here will even further distance themselves from the rest of the AFC field because they're currently now the only team with 2 losses in the AFC. So still a big game, big home game for the Titans. You have the momentum. You can still further assert yourself as the team to beat in the AFC. So yeah, I love it, and I think we have a great chance in this game. I think we're catching the Saints at a bad time, given their injury woes right now. So Titans just got to take advantage here.
Yep, all about taking care of business against an inferior opponent. That's the way you get over the hump in the NFL. Like, yes, 9-7, great, fun times. You never know what you're getting week to week. And then it's 11-5, but we're still dropping a couple games here and there that we shouldn't be. And then hopefully the Jets game is that far enough in the rearview mirror that we forgot. I think that's the last Randy Bullock miss was at the end of overtime in the Jets game. But, that's in the rearview mirror. Hopefully this Titans team can just take care of business down the line, secure that 1 seed, play for the king, get them back in the road to the Super Bowl comes through Nashville. And it starts this weekend, taking care of business, and it starts next weekend against Houston, taking care of business against them as well. So we'll see how it goes, Justin. I'm feeling good about this team. Let's go out there, get a win, tighten up, and defend the home field. I love it. Let's get a win.
Dude, I love it. Oh, it's so much fun for Titans to when the Titans are awesome like this. And it's so much fun to have a Titans channel right now. I'm sure everyone else is thriving. If you're out there and you haven't started a Titans YouTube channel, you got to do it. It's so much fun. While we're winning, it's the best time to do it. So, looking forward to this game. Should be super exciting. Hopefully, Titans can defend the home field and get it done. Move to 8-2 on the season. Wow.
How about it? Especially after starting 2-2. You love this team, and yes, it is much easier to get on a Zoom call several times a week and talk at length about the Titans when they're good. When they're bad, it's not quite as fun. But I haven't had that bad of an experience thus far. I mean, we were 11-5 last year, good start this year. Maybe me coming on is a direct result of the Titans.
I know. Whenever Caleb was on, all we would do is go 9-7. That's it. We just got a bunch of 9-7s. But you're an 11-5 type of member here, Jake. Hopefully we can make it like a 15-2. Can we get to 15-2?
There's no reason. The road is in front of us, Justin. We have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. The road is there to go 15-2 if we want it, if the Titans can show up. But that's looking way ahead. Let's go ahead and beat the Saints on Sunday afternoon and get to 8-2. That sounds good. I think that's going to do it up for us, Justin. Anything else before we hit the barn? All right. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Tighten up. Everybody have a great football weekend.
Tighten up, everybody.